What's up everybody, this is James and welcome to the channel. This is our first video. It's also our first DIY and behind the scenes video in which we will be making these awesome acoustic panels out of old t-shirts. And before we get too far into this, I just want to say, hey, I stream on Twitch Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I will have lots more photos and everything for about doing these and a bunch of other projects and everything else going on Twitter and Instagram. So I'll post up all the links below. And now let's get into this so we can get this going. Okay, so things you're gonna need to do this project are, for one, your t-shirt. You're gonna need 5 boards, and we have them all cut to 3 inches wide, but we have 2 that are 12 inches long, and these are gonna be your vertical boards. And then we have 3 that are going to be our horizontal boards that are 10 and 5/8. Okay, and then we have some glue because we're gonna be gluing down the edges once we get it all, make it nice and neat. You have a hammer, a stapler, we have a flathead screwdriver just in case, we have a knife, we have a Phillips head because I don't feel like changing bits back and forth and I only have one drill here, pair of needle nose in case the staples get messed up. We have some screws. I'm using 1 1/4 inch length, and then I have some T50 5/16 8mm staples for this. And then we have some this is like the weed stop fabric that you put in the ground here. I just use that on the back to help keep it all contained, and then it's still like a mesh and breathable. It's not the greatest, but this is what they had on the store, so it'll work great. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to take your 2 long ones, and they're going to be your vertical pieces right here, and you take 2 of the short ones, and they're going to be our horizontal pieces. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our drill here. I think I've got a 1/8 bit, and we're gonna drill 2 into the side, 2 holes in, and we're just gonna put some screws in real quick, just nice and easy. And then we're gonna do that all the way around, and then we will take this final board here, and this is gonna mount in the middle on the back side. Okay, so now we have our frame together. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our last piece, and we just kind of gotta fit it in here. Oh, this one's a little bit tight. There we go. So we're gonna do that right there. And then at this point, I just drill another hole and put another screw in on each side, right in the middle of the board, just to hold it in place. So these things aren't really that heavy. I think fully together, they're maybe 2 pounds, so I'm not exactly worried about keeping it all straight, just as long as it holds up together and it stays light enough, because, you know, we could just use some simple drywall anchors for some of this rather than having to mount everything into the studs. Okay, so after we did that, we've got this all together, we got our bounding plate on the back. So now comes the fun part. We're gonna take a piece of our anti-weed material mat, whatever you wanna call it, and we're gonna lay it over the back. And now we're gonna, obviously we need to pull it tight and staple it down all the way around here. And we're gonna trim off the excess. And once we do that, we can stuff our insulation into it and then get to working on the t-shirt and pop the t-shirt on the front. Okay, so at this point, we've got it all done. We trimmed it off. You know, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're also gonna have some of the t-shirt material overlapping, so we're not super worried about that. So now we can flip it over. And now we're gonna insert our rock wool, mineral wool, house insulation, whatever you wanna call it. This is what it is. I cut a little bit of a channel out of the center here so it goes around the board a lot better and it doesn't poof up so much in the center. So what you wanna do is just kind of get it in there. And this doesn't have to be like an exact fit. You can kind of stuff this in here. It'll stay, it'll do pretty well in here, but you know, just simple. Just put it in there, and then at this point, now we're gonna get our t-shirt and we're gonna cut up our t-shirt around our logo and everything, and then we're just gonna start with layering it on top. So the way we have this whole box system designed is to use t-shirts that have a print that is under 1 square foot. So and the idea behind that is so you have enough space between the collar and the top of the design and all the way around, depending on, you know, what size shirts you wear. Me, I wear a 2X, so it's a little bit easier for that, but obviously if you're wearing smaller shirts, it will be a little bit harder to find. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna cut around and we're gonna put it on here, and we're gonna basically start stapling as we go around. Okay, so we have our print laid out, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna be stapling along the sides. What I do here is I take my vertical corners, and then I do it kind of like a Christmas package, and I fold it in like this. And then once it's all folded in and nice and tight, I go ahead and trim it all up, all the excess off, so. Okay, so we have it all together, not using the greatest amount of staples because we're gonna be getting more. So now the idea is that we're gonna take the bottom hem of the shirt and we're actually gonna go ahead and cut this off, and then we're gonna line it up with the edges of the box. So then it looks all nice and clean and about yay. Just try and keep it around, and then that keeps it taut, and then we'll have a little bit on the back side, and so make it nice and neat and clean it all up. Have it all together, and this is nice, but see, it still has some flap to it, and as you can see, it's already sagging on one side from pulling it tight and everything. So what we then do is we take our hot glue gun and we're gonna go and we're just gonna put a bunch of dabs along the lines here, and we're just gonna kind of push it down and stick it down. That way it all stays together and it looks nice and clean. So now that we have our edges glued down, and obviously we tried to pick off as many little strings and everything, here we go. Now we have our finished product, and it's looking nice and clean and simple. And the objective now is what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a bunch of them up on the wall and form a grid pattern. And this will be a later video because we're gonna do that with French cleat system. So then at that point, if we ever wanna change them around, we can just change them around and make it really quick and really easy. So hey, I really hope you all enjoyed this pretty simple video, now that all of them are made, and there's still a couple that aren't in the frame. But I hope you all enjoy it, and you go on, you build some cool ones, and hey, if you do make some cool ones out of some cool t-shirts, tag me, show them to me, because I want to see them too, because I love seeing what everybody else does, especially if I have a simple idea like this, and then can spread it to everyone else, because it's always cool to see what everyone does. So hey, thank you very much, have a good day, and I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and hey, have a good time. Come back around. I love having you guys here, especially when someone's watching my content. Thank you very much. Have a